So I'm going to be honest with you guys from the jump. I saw a little bit of footage yesterday from a Comic-Con incident here in New York City where Chris Jericho was at a podium, Cody crashes the party, and we have a subsequent brawl. Now, in all honesty, that was the greatest thing in pro wrestling that I saw yesterday. And that's including the Fox debut of Friday Night Smackdown last night for October 4th, 2019. The best thing I saw in the pro wrestling world was from AEW in a continuing storyline that they put on at Comic-Con. That's what I mean about creative. That's what I mean about, hey, we have this platform, let's not let it go to waste. These are people that are loving what they're doing right now, and it's contagious. It shows. Whether you love AEW or not, it's showing that what they're doing, the money is just one aspect of it. They're loving what they're doing right now. They're taking all of these chances in the public forum and they're using it to the best, to the highest levels possible. And it is showing. That's at a freaking Comic-Con. And over in WWE, you got a marshmallow head man pinning Carmella for a supposed championship. I like some things in this show, trust me. I didn't mind the opening segment at all. We all knew Lesnar was gonna get the championship. I love the fucking Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens ladder match. That was a match that we knew was going to deliver pay-per-view-esque style, and it did not disappoint. My problem with the show is how they went about business booking-wise. To try to make people look strong, they made individuals look so damn weak that could not afford to look weak. 50-50 booking destroys these wrestlers anyway. They just went ahead on this new era and continued business as usual. What do I mean? I won't waste any time. I'll get right into it, man. Vince McMahon and Stephanie welcome us to a new era in pro wrestling. We then go to a pretty badass opening theme, badass new set, and pyro. What could go wrong? We actually go into a pretty decent opening segment, like I said. Becky Lynch kicks things off. She is interrupted by Baron Corbin, King Corbin, who feels that he should be kicking off the new era. He steps in the ring and says, I mean, come on, Becky, do you really still think you're the man? Becky had a good comeback here. She said, take another step and you'll find out. I love that. Then The Rock's music blasts throughout the Staples Center in LA, and sure enough, there's Dwayne. He tore Corbin up on the mic. He called him a broke-ass Burger King on something. I'm not gonna repeat it. That's an instant demonetization, obviously. But he called him a broke-ass Burger King. Let's just put it at that. He even took a shot at the Comic-Con crowd here in New York City. And again, this is Vince McMahon's backyard. So you have a Comic-Con in New York. You know AEW has a huge presence there. He probably got wind on what happened earlier in the day. So I wouldn't be surprised if they slipped that line in there for The Rock. But The Rock tells Corbin that he's dressed like a 35-year-old virgin at a Comic-Con. Blast to the Comic-Con crowd. Now, I know firsthand there's a huge part of the Comic-Con crowd and that type of individual that are huge wrestling fans. So, I don't know, The Rock may have lost some brownie points there. I've never been to a Comic-Con, but I've met a lot of people that are into that, and they seem like the nicest people. So, I don't know, it's not a crowd that I want to attack, but I think he was probably put up to that. But anyway, he calls Baron Corbin a 35-year-old virgin at a Comic-Con, or at least that's how he's dressed as. Becky and The Rock then begin to take turns on Corbin blow for blow, and it ends with the people's elbow and a subsequent rock bottom. Again, I love the Rock and Becky kind of chemistry. I hate that this is where we're going now with the whole man thing and where we are in the world today. And I think Fox is going to try to overexpose this man. It's a woman, but she's a man, and it's, you know what I mean? I think Fox is going to definitely try to overexpose that, and I think Becky now more than ever is going to be shoved down people's throats at a time where her momentum has definitely dropped. So if you want me to believe in Becky, that's cool. I like Becky. I'm not a fan, but I like her, but you're going to have to make me care about her. It's got to be more than just the man title because I'm just not seeing it. But The Rock obviously was on his A game. You do not fuck with this guy. He can come back in 20 years and still be the most electrifying dude on that microphone. He is just rock solid on that mic. He delivers in the ring. The dude is just charismatic to no end. So I like it. What I didn't like from the opening segment was Baron Corbin looking like a chump. You did this when he won Money in the Bank, and then you pulled back his momentum tenfold. Then you have him win King of the Ring, and last night what you did is you pulled his momentum tenfold. BC, he was in there with The Rock, man. That's a huge rub. Is it? Do you remember when Rusev and The Rock? It was when Rock returned to Brooklyn, and he had a huge segment with Rusev, and we thought now is the time to give Rusev the rocket. And he just went into obscurity. After that rock bottom, Rusev went into obscurity. Unless you're going to give Baron a rocket and see what he really has with this King character, he's just going into obscurity. And to a lot of you, that might be a good thing. Good, get rid of him. But if you're going to waste the King of the Ring on him, then you better have something. Not just be the King clown. So I just don't understand the booking of Baron Corbin. Why put him in that situation? But the segment was good. Now they have to really repair the damages of Baron. You see what I mean? They got the good out of something, but it was at a cost. The old saying, nothing in life is free. They got that big blast for The Rock. They had the chemistry with The Rock and Becky. It's what they wanted. It's what Fox wanted. The Man and The Rock. But at what cost? How about King Corbin and where they were going with him? That got cut in half last night, and now you have to repair that. Then we go in, I'm not even done with the poor booking as far as making someone look strong at the cost of someone else. And that is Charlotte and Becky took on Sasha Banks and Bayley. This was a good match. Nowhere near the best they can do, but good. The moment when Sasha and Becky squared off face to face, that was obviously the pinnacle in the match. But again, the match as a whole was good. The ending is mind-boggling to me, but not shocking. Charlotte Flair taps out Bayley. Obviously, we know this was Vince wanting Fox and the Fox world to know that Charlotte is the real deal main event player, and even if that's the expense of Bayley. Charlotte is up here, Bayley's down here. That was Vince McMahon's memo to the world. So Charlotte looks dominant at the expense of Bayley. Charlotte's stock rises, Bayley's drops further. Doesn't matter if you're a champion or not. If you're booked like a loser, perception is reality. Our subconscious is constantly taking inventory, and Bayley's just a loser. And we've seen for the past year plus now that championships mean nothing to Vince McMahon. You'll be booked more of a loser if you do have a strap lately. It's almost like getting a title is a fucking curse. Charlotte taps out Bayley. That's the best you had? I mean, you needed Charlotte Flair to look that dominant to the Fox crowd, and you would make Bayley your champion? Tap the fuck? You would really do that, Vince? Rhetorical. We know the answer. Yup, I'll do it in a heartbeat. Charlotte needs to look dominant. Now tap out on your champion in the middle of a SmackDown. When we're constantly taking inventory subconsciously, perception is reality, and that's how you want Bayley to look. Bayley has not been booked strong in fucking weeks. You had her have all the momentum when she turned heel. She captivated the wrestling world. And this was just weeks after Sasha Banks did. You have this new formed union between the two. You could have done some epic shit, and you're making them look like fucking bums. Sasha has a chance to captivate the world and look strong as fuck Sunday night at Hell in a Cell when she captures that championship. What the fuck are you doing with Bayley? I would love to know. Is that just going to lead to a Charlotte taking of the title Sunday night? Charlotte defeats Bayley again, and this time for the championship? Mind-boggling, but not shocking. Again, just like the first segment, I like the segment, but it comes at such a huge cost. I like the first match of the night with this women's tag match. Good match, but it comes at such a huge cost. At one point, you gotta stop putting people in there that cannot take L's or that cannot be made to look weak. You have to learn how to build multiple people up at once. 50-50 booking will just destroy these superstars, and we've seen it for years. We then go to a Firefly Funhouse before a Rollins and Nakamura match. This is with Ramblin' Rabbit, not only back to life, which was good to see. You guys, I love Ramblin' Rabbit, man. He's constantly perishing from this good earth. I love when he's back to life. So we saw Ramblin' Rabbit not only back to life, but dressed like Seth Rollins. He had the beard, he had the hair, he had his shirt, and he says, this is a quote from Ramblin' Rabbit while Seth Rollins is watching in the ring on the Tron. And Ramblin' Rabbit says, "Hey Seth, it's me, Ramblin' Rabbit. I'm your biggest fan." And he tries to warn Seth Rollins of what's to come Sunday night. But Bray Wyatt doesn't like that. He feels Ramblin' Rabbit is talking too much. So he says, rather than tell Seth what to expect Sunday, why don't we show him? And Bray puts Ramblin' Rabbit in a cage with Mercy the Buzzard. Legit. Think of Mercy the Buzzard, right? He's fucking like a crazy dinosaur chihuahua. Some fucking shit. He's Mercy the Buzzard. You don't want to be stuck in a cage with him. Especially if you're full of fluff like Ramblin' Rabbit. So they get stuck in a cage and legit Mercy just tears up. Literally tears up Ramblin' Rabbit to pieces, to shreds. His cotton is all over the place. And as I said on Monday's review, if rabbits are like cats and they have 9 lives, the 7th was taken on Monday, the 8th was taken last night. By my calculations, Ramblin' Rabbit has 1 life left. So we better secure him. We better put him in that cage with nobody inside with him. We need to preserve Ramblin' Rabbit's last life. But at first, just like Monday, Bray Wyatt kind of was concerned when he had Ramblin' in his hands in pieces. And then he just starts laughing diabolically. Sends Seth Rollins another warning. We fade to black. Or we go to the Firefly Funhouse theme. And then we are on to the Rollins and Nakamura match. This was a Rollins win via DQ because the lights go out, and sure enough, the Fiend is in the ring giving Rollins the claw. We go to the diabolical laughter and screaming / screeching, and that's how we end the segment. So Rollins does win the match via DQ, but he's the one looking like a loser in that aspect. Storyline-wise, I like the way it was pulled off. I think after Hell in a Cell, we have to start thinking better for Bray. We have to start getting more creative. I think we're starting to see one too many Bray appear and giving the claws. It was good. Still is. But I think that was it. I think after Hell in a Cell, that might be starting to get old. We have to start getting even more creative. But it did justice for this feud. So no harm, no foul. We go to Sunday and whatever happens there. Afterwards, we have to start getting even more creative, just like we used to do with The Undertaker. And they used to get really creative with The Undertaker. He used to have all of these gadgets and lighting effects, lightning, and appearing out of nowhere, and there'd be 4 Undertakers at some points. Get creative with this Bray character. You could do so much cool shit. And again, R.I.P. to Ramblin' Rabbit. By my calculations, he's not done yet. He still has 1 life. Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens is next, and again, this was match of the night, easily and obviously, but that's not saying much. Obviously, this was match of the night. This felt, and it was, pay-per-view caliber. Chants of "This is awesome" and "Fight Forever" throughout the match, and that's why I'm gonna miss Shane. I know a lot of you guys just wanted to see him no more, at least on WWE television. I was opposite. I loved it because I knew what it could lead to. I know that he could help build superstars in the process by being defeated, for instance, by Kevin Owens last night. That did wonders for Owens. A couple of times he did the job to Owens. But I know what Shane McMahon brings in that ring. Just this believability, but on top of that, this sense of anything can happen because Shane loves taking risks. I missed that. We have a lot of superstars in this day and age that do flips and dives, but not too many that when they hit the top rope, you really think anything can happen, anything's possible, and this dude doesn't give a shit. He's going all out. Shane McMahon is one of the last dying breed to do such, and that's why I knew I was going to miss him, because I love his pay-per-view matches. There's some of the matches I look forward to the most. Going into this SmackDown, this was the match I was looking forward to the most. At the end of SmackDown last night, that was the match I was talking about the most. And that's why those are the reasons I'm going to miss Shane McMahon, to be honest with you. So everybody was quick to get him off. But who on TV now are you captivated by? Very small number, isn't it? For me, it's nobody. Bray and Sasha Banks, maybe. I almost said Seth. That's not the case. Bray Wyatt, Sasha Banks. Those would be the only two that come to mind. Daniel Bryan, if they start booking him correctly again, obviously I love Daniel Bryan. He captivates me to no end. But, I mean, Daniel Bryan has been irrelevant his whole heel run. I think turning him face was the only thing they could do. Because he was going into obscurity. Daniel Bryan into obscurity? That's almost impossible. But leave it to Vince McMahon and he'll find a way. 8-man schmaz is next. You guys know I hate schmaz matches. Even if it's just a triple threat. So just imagine my pleasure/displeasure in an 8-man schmaz. That's right. You had Rude, Ziggler, Styles, Orton, Strowman taking on Miz. Oh, I'm sorry. Rude, Ziggler, Styles, and Orton taking on Strowman, Miz, and Heavy Machinery. I'm not going to go over this match because it was a fucking schmaz. It was bullshit. It was nonsensical. At the end, Strowman defeats Dolph in post-match. Tyson Fury, that's right, Tyson Fury, the actual fighter, he's scuffling it up with Braun Strowman. So it looks like with Fox, they're really trying to get real fighters, as they call them, in there to mix it up with the WWE superstars. We actually found that out even more so at the end of the night. This was just the first of two scenarios. So you have Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. I don't know where that's leading to, and I don't know if I need to fucking see that. Braun Strowman gets 2 inches, and then they take him back 10 feet. He gets a little bit of momentum, and they pull it right from underneath the rug from him. They give him a little bit of limelight, and then they take it all away, and they put shade on him. They don't know what they're doing with Braun Strowman. And then that's what I don't know what to believe anymore with Strowman. Do I believe he's a monster, or do I believe he's just a fucking pissant? One day they got us believing that Braun could be heavyweight champion. The next day I'm thinking he should be at the local bingo hall taking on Fuckwad Fred and dipshit Dugenheimer. I don't know with this fucking guy. Roman Reigns is up next. He's in a lumberjack match. Another fucking schmaz. He defeats Eric Rowan. Okay, just like Charlotte Flair, you want the Fox world to know Charlotte is the queen and Roman is the king. No offense, Baron. But Roman is Vince's fucking prized possession. Charlotte and Roman. So you had to make Charlotte look dominant. You had to make Roman Reigns look dominant. But why at the expense of Eric Rowan, I ask you? You just had a 2-month story revolving around Eric Rowan. You just had Luke Harper come back. You're trying to make us believe that Rowan is now a legit threat. And you have him lose in the middle of SmackDown to Roman Reigns simplistically with a freaking spear. Seriously! Now, for most people, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But if you're watching me, I'm a reviewer, I am a critic. My job is to break it down and see the reasoning behind these decisions. So you can be upset with me all you want, but you know deep down, I'm actually right though. You're like, fuck BC, damn it, you're right. I know I'm right. I'm dissecting it. And I dissect it not just to play Monday morning quarterback, I dissect it because this has meaning for the individuals, the characters, and the storylines going forward. So if it's not making sense or it's just stupidity up front, that usually means stupidity and nonsensical bullshit is to come. Does that make sense? We're just setting the breeding ground, we're planting the seeds to more bullshit in the future. All of that time was spent for Eric Rowan to finally be something in this business. You had Luke Harper spend all that time out of WWE, and then they finally work out a deal. He comes back, and you think they're going to do something with these two finally. And Roman Reigns just takes him out. Just like that. What do you think that's doing to our subconscious? What do you think that's doing when we look at an individual? We're not going to be like, oh, now they're dominant. It's just Eric Rowan again. It's just another glorified big dude jobber. Next thing you know, he's at the local bingo hall taking on Peacock Polly. And maybe even my local pizza delivery guy, Luigi Lugnuts. Because those are matches Eric Rowan should be in. That's what you're telling me, Vince. I shouldn't look at this guy as a legit threat. He hasn't been somebody since his fucking debut years ago. This is what I mean. If you want Roman Reigns to look strong, that's cool. You can't get more creative than that. Have that at the expense of somebody who you've been supposedly trying to build up, Eric Rowan. That's what I mean. This company either doesn't know what it's doing or does and consciously is making these dumbass decisions. And that's even more scary than just not knowing what you're doing. Because then you're just in a straight up delusional state of mind. One day they want to build somebody, the next week it's like, no, let's take that away. That's what they do for years, and it shows. They have not built a legit superstar in years. That is a problem. We go into a WWE title match. Brock Lesnar defeats Kofi Kingston in 8 seconds to become the new WWE champion. We knew it was going to happen. I don't understand this. Why make why 8 seconds? Yes, awesome for Brock. Brock looks like the beast, and they're setting up a Velasquez fucking one-on-one encounter, UFC style. Who knows what Vince wants? But why at Kofi's expense? That is the theme of the night for the Amplified Man. Why make people look so fucking weak just to try to make someone look stronger than you've already made them look? Brock didn't need to win that in 8 seconds. You've already told the world he's Brock. Kofi just gave you 6 months of a pretty decent title reign. Yes, I hated the fact that he was just another member of the New Day and they didn't really break away enough. I hate the way that he was stuffing pancakes in between his waist and his championship. But at the end of the day, he was beating legit motherfuckers. He did beat Kevin Owens. He did beat Daniel Bryan. He did beat all these sumbitches. Randy Orton. Some of the top names in the industry for years now. Kofi Kingston did plow through them. And the big thank you to him when you're about to do the deed and pass that torch off was an 8-second loss? That's the best you had? That's the most respect you had for Kofi? Kofi, you gotta give this guy the world, man. You see the way he sold that F5? They show it in slow motion, and I saw it when it was in original fucking motion, whatever you want to call it. I saw what he did, but in slow motion, it was just confirmed for me. He literally sees the mat in midair, and he puts his head down. He took a direct headshot into the canvas to sell it even more for Brock. I think Kofi knew there was going to be backlash from this, and he was like, well, I'm at least going to make everyone see that I got knocked out from it, maybe. And he put his head into the mat. That was awesome selling by Kofi, and that's why I always will say Kofi Kingston's one of the best wrestlers that I've seen in the last 20 plus years. No question. But the selling of Kofi wasn't enough to save this. Listen, you want to put the strap on Brock. I understand. It's your big debut on Fox. You want to set the world ablaze. I got it. I don't like the way they rushed this because they didn't know how to do time management. Literally, Kofi's entrance was cut short. Then they had the announcements, their intros done really quick. And WWE Champion and the Challenger. And that was all done so quick. And then in the 8 seconds, you could tell they were rushing towards something. And that shouldn't be your title match then. It deserves more respect than just a rushed segment. Those are my beefs with it. And then afterwards, Budoka, Budoka! Rey Mysterio's music hits. And he comes down with Cain Velasquez. Now, Vasquez, whatever the fuck. I can spit it out. So Cain comes down, and he's face-to-face with Brock, and he totally just spears him. Starts throwing in haymakers. Brock's covered up. Brock kicks Cain off and kind of hightails it. And for the next, I can't make this up, for the next 5 minutes, it's just a stare down. Brock staring at Cain from the ramp, and Cain staring out at Brock. They totally time this, they totally mismanaged this whole thing. They rushed the actual match for no reason. I think when there was 5 minutes left, they realized, shit, we put ourselves in a corner here. Now for the next 5 minutes, the camera just has to stay on these two. I think Vince thought this was bigger than it actually was. He's like, yes, for 5 minutes, we're going to electrify the world. Brock and Cain face to face. What the... This did nothing more than WWE Cain. Glenn Jacobs having a stare down with Brock Lesnar. It doesn't matter what Cain you put in there. Nobody needs to see their mugs for 6 minutes. They rushed everything. You go back to the introductions and everything, guys. Everything was rushed to get the strap off of Kofi just so we can give over 5 minutes to a stare down. And after 1 minute, that's still over 4 minutes at that point, everybody was looking at each other like, awkward. It was an awkward moment for 4 minutes. 4+. Awkward as fuck. Even Brock, when it ended the show, you could hear Brock audibly ask the camera, because the cameraman relates. The cameraman has an earpiece and he gives signals to the superstar. I'm kind of breaking down the curtain for you, the fourth wall. But the cameraman is actually, it's not always just the ref. The cameraman tells who they're shooting to stay, or 5 seconds, or turn, walk away. The cameraman tells them this. So you can hear Brock finally just say like, do I stay? And then they cut to black. Brock didn't know what the fuck to do. He's like, dude, this is getting weird. So if my job's to dissect shit, that whole end segment went off the rails. I understand what they want to do. They want Cain and Brock to have a future epic fight. Not just wrestling, because we're on Fox now and they want that sports feel. So they want to fight. And it'll be on the same card of Tyson Fury and Braun. I don't know why I'm doing the Vince voice. Oh, yes, I do. Because this is in Vince's head what he's kind of thinking about. And it's amazing to me that you're willing to sacrifice 6 months of work that you put into Kofi just because Cain is this fighter. Cain Velasquez, man. And I just don't understand. Like, yes, I understand the dude can fight. He's the dude that beat Brock Lesnar in the UFC. I understand the history. And trust me, you do this correctly, I'll even be invested. But the theme of this whole review is making people look really good, and most of those people don't even need to look really good because they're already fucking phenomenal in Vince's eyes. He's nailed home the point that these are the superstars of superstars. So there are people that don't even need the rub are making people that need some type of momentum, they're being booked like 50-50 bums at the expense of these superstars. Why did The Rock need a rub at a time when King Corbin could use any momentum possible? Why did Roman Reigns, of all people, have to take out somebody like Eric Rowan so simplistically? I need a coffee. Why did Charlotte Flair have to tap out Bayley? Why did Brock have to beat Kofi in 8 seconds? Just to get to a dude that most of your WWE universe doesn't even know. Let's be honest. 50% at least of your WWE audience, and I'm saying at least, doesn't know who this dude is. The pop that he got was because it's LA, guys. Don't be fooled. When you're around Nevada, right? When you're around Vegas, LA, that whole West Coast, man, they are really in to UFC and MMA and just that real fighting combat type style. They're into that much more than, say, the East Coast. Definitely the middle of the country. So that's why he got the pop. And again, I'll be into it if you do it correctly. I didn't mind it, the segment. I just wished it was played off much better. I wish we actually had a match with Kofi and Brock, and then afterwards you dedicate 2 minutes to Cain. That's what I mean. We could have done this better. You had a lot of time to map this out. And when you're a conglomerate, billion-dollar company, and you have this billion-dollar deal, bro, there's no reason why you should be making these type of mistakes. They're not so minor. They're kind of major in the grand scheme of things. I'm the Amplified Man. Hopefully I opened you guys' minds up to a whole new realm of the way you look at pro wrestling. And if not, if you just think I'm an asshole who's overcritical, that's cool too. My standards are way up here. And I demand that they be met when you're a company with 617 writers. You are the company right now. You claim that nobody does it better than you. Act like it. That's all I ask for. The Amplified Man. I'll see you guys for the Hell in a Cell Good, the Bad, and the Ugly video on Monday morning, guys. This is huge. Sasha and Becky, Bray Wyatt and Seth. Both matches inside the cage. It's going to be a huge Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. For now, and throughout the weekend, kick that ass. The Amplified Man. Yow! Check you later.